Let's go. Lightning. Salesforce DX. App Exchange. My Salesforce. Heroku. 3, 2, 1, liftoff. Einstein. Connect.
All systems go.
Shield.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for being here. Thank you for making the time to come to the keynote this afternoon on the platform. I hope everybody's in the right keynote. I hope you're all having a good day, and I hope you found it useful today. Has everybody found it useful? Wow, tired. Excellent. Well, listen, my name's Adam Spearing, and I look after the platform business here in Europe, and I've done so for a number of years now. What I'm going to talk to you about this afternoon is just how fun and easy it is to build apps on the Salesforce platform. And we've come a long way over the last few years, and there are some tremendous things that we've got to share with you. First of all, I do have the obligatory safe harbor statement, so please read this at your leisure, take it home and print it out and refer to it as you need to. But it's important that you realize what you're buying is based off of what's available today. The fourth industrial revolution. Simon talked about it in his presentation this morning. And as far as I see the fourth industrial revolution, it really is driving a totally different way of us working, us engaging, and what we can actually do with technology today. It really has taken things to a whole new level, and there are more and more ways of us using information and data and knowledge and sharing these things around in the fourth industrial revolution. And I think that's one of the things that presents a huge challenge and a huge opportunity to all of us. Because with all of this information, with all of this data, with all of this connectivity, we have an opportunity to really transform how we engage with each other, how we engage with people, with consumers, with employees, with partners, really with everything that we do. And there's just some few examples up there of how we're seeing this come to life. And I'm sure in each of your companies and each of your industries, you have great examples of this fourth industrial revolution and how it's really starting to take hold now. And I think the next few years in technology are going to be some of the most exciting that we've ever seen. Now, with this fourth industrial revolution, we've also seen a proliferation of ideas. We have seen more and more people, more and more users, more and more consumers, individuals have really got used to having this lovely experience of having apps, of using technology. We're more tech savvy as a society than we've ever been before. And as a result of that, people have more ideas. What if we could do this? What if we could solve that? How about if I could connect with my customers through a new application, or generate new revenue, or create a new way to do deliveries? And so we're seeing more and more ideas come through into the industry. And as an IT professional, it's very exciting. As a business leader, as an IT professional, it's kind of a bit scary. Because all of these new ideas, oh my God, you want me to build more applications and more systems and more stuff? And it's quite difficult to do. And how do you get that balance between capitalizing on these ideas, using these ideas, and not missing a great opportunity, but at the same time being able to deliver that? And the other challenge we've got to deal with is we need to do that in a day and age where actually, you know what? There aren't enough skilled people out there. There aren't enough developers out there who know how to do it. There are, as this slide shows you here, there are way more developer roles that exist today than we can possibly fulfill with the undergraduates that we've got currently studying. So we're going to have this continual gap. Supply is finite, demand is growing all the time. And how do we bridge that gap? Well, we at Salesforce have been working on this ever since we set the company up. And if you ever read any of the Salesforce literature or go back to the Dreamforce keynotes from the early 2000s, you'll see the whole philosophy of our company is all about letting everybody be able to do this, not just IT professionals, not just skilled, trained programmers, but letting ordinary people being able to actually embrace and use technology to their advantage. And that's why the Lightning platform is such a key component of what we do and how we work and operate. What the Lightning platform allows you to do is truly be able to build applications either through skilled programming or through the use of a mouse. It really allows the business and IT to work together, because historically this relationship has been one of trying to translate the business requirements into IT capability, and it's been quite fractious and quite difficult. And that's created a whole range of other problems in terms of the relationship between the two that I'm not going to discuss today. But we've got an opportunity, and we have an opportunity with Salesforce because we can build applications in different ways. For those of you who are not skilled, trained, certified programmers, as I was many, many, many years ago, you can actually pick up a mouse, as this drawing shows you here, and you can build a mobile application that will work on any device you choose to, using nothing more than the mouse in your hand. And honestly, we've got great examples of this, and we'll talk about them later on today. But I actually got my 11-year-old son to do this once. I got him to go onto Trailhead, much to his bemusement, sit down and work his way through a couple of the trails. And then I gave him the mouse at the end, and I said, right, OK, here's a little environment. I've logged you in. Go and move it around. And he actually built an application with the mouse in his hand, and then it came up on my mobile phone, which to him was incredible. To me, that's how we do things every day at Salesforce. We empower people, ordinary users, to be able to build these applications. We allow you to prototype things quickly. So if you've got an idea and you're in the business, don't resort to writing it down on a piece of paper or trying to describe it to somebody in the IT world. Go build it. Go get the mouse, go click, go create, go show them what it is you want it to look like. And it really is very empowering for the business user. We also have taken this to the next level where we can include things like intelligence or artificial intelligence through things like Einstein. And actually ordinary users who are not programmers, not skilled data scientists, not skilled in artificial intelligence can take advantage of the technologies we can provide them with the mouse to build applications using AI as an example. Now, the beautiful thing with Salesforce, of course, is that all of this sits on the same platform. So as you as a business user start to create and build this great environment and what you want that application to look like, the other side of the organization, the professional developers, also have to build applications. And on that same platform, we can give you, the professional developers in the audience, the tools and technologies on how you like to build applications using the keyboard. And typically using the keyboard, you will have technologies, containerization, environments that you like to work with. And we've done a lot of work with our Salesforce DX to give you developers the true developer experience that you expect of an enterprise class technology. And we can even take that a step further with something called Heroku, which is a very curated environment where, as a professional developer, you can use your different types of Java skills and actually create really beautiful, pixel-perfect, high-volume applications. We've seen these typically at scale where we're reaching out to hundreds of millions and billions of consumers using Heroku to very rapidly build these applications. And it really does transform it. But the key thing, whichever method you choose to use, the mouse or the keyboard to build those applications, it all sits on the same platform. So we build together, IT and business working hand in hand, not trying to discuss through documents or conversation, but building it together at the same time. And whichever way you do it, you have access to all of the same tools through a different interface. You have the same security, you have the same workflows, search capabilities, all of the things that are listed here. And that really is very empowering, as you'll hear from our customer who's going to talk a little bit later on today. It's very transformational. It's a totally different way of doing it. And what's more, there isn't anybody else in the world who provides the same level of technology which allows both that collaborative programmatic developer and what is sometimes called a hobby programmer, but a mouse-type developer. And we can take that one step further, because not only do we have all of that capability, but there's lots of other things we can do with it. For example, integration. We made an acquisition recently, you might have spotted. We spent a few pennies on a company to actually help us accelerate the ability to integrate into your enterprise. Not just what you build in Salesforce, but all of that rich information you have in your organization. And it goes right the way into the world of things like IoT, and great companies we have collecting a lot of information all over the place and using that to create value for their customers and value for their consumers as well. So what kind of things can you do? You know, I can do sales, I can do service, I've heard about marketing, I've heard about commerce today. What else can I do? Well, there's a huge range of things you can do. And this is just some examples that I picked out to show you and highlight some of the different areas. Within marketing, you can build applications to help you run marketing. For those that have heard about Unilever and read the publications we've done with Unilever, that's where our journey started. They wanted us to help run marketing more efficiently and cleanly. If you want to get into HR, how can we help with benefits, employee onboarding, life cycle of employees, alumni management? If you want to go into finance, how can you help with my compliance, my quarterly certifications, my billing processes, all kinds of things. So really, the opportunity is only limited by your imagination and nothing more. And that really is very different. One thing that's very important is when you start on this journey, people say to me, okay, that's great, Adam, we get it all, it's different, I understand that, wow, it's going to be a whole new experience. Where do I start? Where do I begin? And the answer to that is this slide here. It is very important that you know where you're going to begin your journey. And I always say to CIOs and people I meet, start solving the problems you know you've got to solve. Look at all the applications you've got on your long backlog of programs and projects. Let's go and build some of those on Salesforce. Prove how easy it is to do. And in many instances, we will come along and we'll actually spend a day with you. And in a day, we can build one of those applications. And honestly, we do that with a lot of organizations. And I've literally seen people's jaw open when they see, oh my God, you did that in a day? That would have taken us weeks. And then you've got to think about, what other applications are the business running that I might want to get back under control of governance of IT? Because honestly, there's a lot that goes on out there that we pretend doesn't within businesses today. And at the bottom of this stack, there are applications you run that you need to modernize. Now, GDPR has been a big topic I've been talking about today, and it's actually causing a lot of forcing a lot of people to think about the old stuff as well. But it's really important that you realize that there is a lot of old stuff we need to modernize today. And the beauty with Salesforce is you don't just need an army of programmers to be able to recreate your old stuff in a modern environment. You can use everybody in your organization. You can enable them with Trailhead. You can skill them to build a lot of that applications themselves. So now we can share the workload between business and IT. We can let the business do things that are suitable for the business, and maybe the more complicated, sophisticated things we'll control within the world of IT. But we do it together, and that's a very different way of working and operating and different to any other technology that exists. So that's kind of giving you a very high-level view of what it is we're up to and how we're doing things. What I'd now like to do is actually invite a customer up on stage to come and talk to us a little bit about what they're up to and what they've been doing. So Diana, Richard, would you please come and join me? Please give them a round of applause as they come up. Brilliant. So welcome and thank you both for being here. I know you've got up off your sickbed to be here today, so
it's not been the greatest week.
But no, I really appreciate it. And you're off home to go for a sleep in a moment. But we've been working with you for quite a while now, and in the last year, I think your journey with us has really accelerated. So, Danny, maybe you could explain to us, why did you choose to work with Salesforce? Why Salesforce?
Yes, I mean, it's a great question, Adam. I mean, you talked just now about that fourth industrial revolution, and the oil and gas industry, that resonates very deeply with us. And this industry is transforming faster than it has for several generations, in the same way as the technology industry is. And that's due to two things. Firstly, a huge increase in the demand for energy, 25% over the next 20 years globally, and the need to meet that energy demand in a low-carbon way. So therefore, our whole industry is disrupting through electrification, through renewables, and as a result, BP as an organization, it has to respond to that in a very relevant and rapid way. And we have a new group strategy which is underpinned by digital technology. And that's where you guys come in. And we've launched a very bold and ambitious modernisation programme. We call it Modernise IT. We don't tend to do cool project names in BP, unlike you guys. So that is what it says on the tin. But it's underpinned by, a huge step change in our ambition around how we deliver applications to our organisation, with agility and pace, but particularly to give us a step change in that consumer-grade customer experience and user experience. And we looked to the market, and Salesforce was just simply head and shoulders above the competition, and it was a no-brainer choice for us. Not just the technology, though, which we love, and the architecture, which we love, but also the culture change that Salesforce allows us to bring. And that's a really important part of our modernization journey, too, which is, we love the sort of citizen developer community piece, the culture around continuous development, iteration, start small, and that really resonates with what we're trying to achieve in BP around our modernization journey. So
brilliant.
I think that was more than 90 seconds probably.
No, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
That's why we chose Salesforce.
And Richard, you've got to make the rubber hit the road. So tell us what you've been kind of done since that journey started.
So over the course of the last 6 or so months, we've worked really hard to work out the right architectures to help support some of the things that Diana talked about, and particularly the thing that's important for me is the citizen developer piece. Yeah? So as we've gone through working out the right architectures, the right orgs, and all that good stuff that you get involved with, we've been looking at how we get people enabled so that they can actually use the platforms to build stuff. And the thing that really amazed me about the platform when I started looking at it was how easy it was to use. I mean, you talked to it just then, but we had 100 people in Sunbury, clicking away, building an app. Some of them haven't even used Salesforce before, but within an hour, a lot of them had finished and had the app that they built on their mobile phone, and were able to talk. One guy even did it in Danish. Yeah, it was great. And it's stuff like that. That's the thing that amazes our business stakeholders too, is as we go around talking to them about the things that they need to do. It's great, we've heard the requirements. The next time we go and interact with them, we can actually give them something that is, almost hits the needs.
Brilliant.
Right? And they love that.
And what excites you most? What are you looking forward to most? What's the future holding for you at the moment?
So for me, it's the ability to get people, to get the organisation to change, to get the organisation to start learning, because we're trying to move away from, people just managing, complex outsourcing deals and things like that, to actually going and building stuff for themselves. Imagine if you come to me and say, well, I've got a problem, and it's like, well, go on then, pick the mouse up, sort it out for yourself. All right? We're trying to give people the ability to do that. And, we'll learn some lessons along the way. It won't be as rosy or as easy as we might think it's going to be. But, with the right structures and governance in place, we can give people an opportunity to help themselves or help their colleagues. You imagine if it was as easy as just working an Excel sheet. Build me one of these things. Well, it is. So
Brilliant.
Why not get on with it?
Brilliant. And you know what? I think it's very courageous, because it takes a good strategy and good leadership to take that step. And I'm delighted to see you benefiting from it. So thank you both very much for being customers. We're privileged to have you here as well today, and we look forward to your continued success. So thank you both very, very much indeed. Please give them a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you, Diana. And as an organisation at scale, that it's not easy sometimes to change a big company, and they are a super big company, so thank you. Somebody said to me, when we were talking about the BP story, and somebody said, well, what if they did it themselves? What if they wanted to do it on their own? What would they need to do? And so we put together a list of all the things that they would need to think about, all the things that they would need to do, all the different components that they would need to create, all on their own, that we give you all in one package together as Salesforce. And I think for those of us that are in technology, it's a pretty interesting picture to think about that. I'm now going to hand over to my esteemed colleague, Nalina, who is going to show you an example of another customer and how they've taken advantage of the Salesforce platform. So, Nalina.
Perfect. Thank you, Adam. So I'm so pleased to be here today to share the WeWork story, because it's truly a story of innovation and market disruption. WeWork is a company that transforms buildings into shared office space so people and companies can grow together. I moved to London in 2016, and at that time, there were 11 WeWork locations in the city. Fast forward 2 years, and not only am I an honorary Brit, minus my accent, which I know I need to work on, But WeWork has experienced unprecedented growth with over 35 locations in areas like Soho, Moorgate, and Devonshire Square, making them the largest office space occupant in the City of London. Now, this growth is fueled by their incredible mission to create a space to make more than just a life, but a living. Because the reality is, the majority of us spend our time in an office, some of us more time than we'd like to admit. And WeWork recognized in 2010 that there's a fundamental shift in the way people work. And there's an expectation around your workplaces to provide more than just a desk and a cup of coffee, but dynamic environments that fuel creativity, focus, and personal connection. WeWork started their business by providing space to entrepreneurs, freelancers, and small businesses, but then over time realized the opportunity they had to companies of any size. In the last 8 years, they've scaled their company across 20 countries globally. And to drive this expansion, they've partnered with the Lightning Platform to grow and scale with them. So let's take a look at this live demo to see what they're doing. So before we start this demo, I want to introduce Simon. Simon is a great SE here at Salesforce. For the sake of this demo, he's going to play an account manager at WeWork. So Simon and his team at WeWork start their day in the Lightning console to manage their B2B sales. What you see here doesn't look like a Salesforce app. It looks like a WeWork app, because they're using My Lightning to customize their instance of Salesforce to drive adoption for every single account manager at WeWork. So we're looking at a lead page for Carla Duarte, and she works at a company called Pacifica. She's looking for a new office space for her and her team. So Simon likes this lead page, but he wants to make it a little bit more intuitive for him. And he can do that with the power of our no-code builder. So he clicks Edit Page, and now we see all of the functionality that he can add to his page. You have your standard components that come out of the box. He can extend this functionality with code using custom components, or he can download pre-built components from the App Exchange. So in this case, he wants to drag over the path component, which is a standard component that comes out of the box, and it allows him to monitor lead status. In addition, he wants to drag over a flow. This is a custom flow called Office Designer. So this allows WeWork to create those innovative personal spaces for their customers by having their account managers giving them an easy way to ask their customers the right questions so they can really personalize their workspace. So we save these changes, and we'll see that they're implemented on the page immediately. So right away, we see the lead status at the top, and on the right, we see this beautiful flow. So Simon is going to call Carla to understand a little bit more about her business, and he's going to use this flow to drive that conversation. So right now, he's on the phone with Carla, and he can vet out that Carla wants her office space to be in London. She has a team of 40 people, and she is ready to move in the next 60 days. She wastes no time. So we click Next, and now we have 3 beautiful London locations that are surfaced up to Simon to recommend to Carla. And as he's moving over these 3 locations, you'll see the details changing below. Now, this is a really rich UI, because this is a custom component that's embedded into this flow. So Simon, with Carla's blessing, selects the location, and we move to the next step. Now, this is pretty cool. So we have a 2D rendering component of that office space. So this is where Carla and Simon can completely customize this space. So she can zoom in on a specific area and make it her own. She can add in a chair. She can change the color, change the positioning, and really customize the space to be the best space it can be for the Pacifica team. Now, while this looks wonderful on the desktop, the reality is the account manager, like Simon, isn't always tied to his desk. He's mobile, he's on the go, and he's with his customer. And that's the beauty of a Lightning platform, is all of his capability is automatically available mobile. So whether Simon is on his desk or he's on the go with Carla, meeting her in a WeWork space, he's able to have all the tools he needs to provide the most personal customer experience for all of his customers. So Carla has signed off on this design plan, and she's stoked to move into her new office. The next thing he's going to do is move this plan and update her lead status. And now it's time for WeWork to do the heavy lifting and get the project going. So to manage the Pacifica office build, WeWork uses Quip. And Quip is a collaboration tool full of live documents that can help us take the Pacifica office vision into a reality. It has all of the components we need. So at the top, we see a countdown. This is a live app in Quip that ensures we're all marching towards the same deadline. You see a lot of other useful information in here, like the floor plan we just approved. In addition, you see a project management tool, TaskRay. This is embedded into the document using live apps on the App Exchange. So now Simon doesn't have to go to different tools to get the job done. Now you'll see the last milestone that Simon has is to promote the mobile apps to the WeWork customer. So he was already going to kick off a welcome journey to Carla and the team at Pacifica. So now he can add that note in there. So rather than going to the Marketing Cloud to edit this email, he's able to embed it in the Quip doc with live apps. So he just mentioned Marketing Cloud, and you can see this email coming up on the document. Now, this email is highly personalized to Carla and her team at Pacifica. It's giving them all of the information they need to know to move into their beautiful new workspace. And it's also telling them to look at the new mobile app so they can connect with this space ahead of moving in. So let's take a look at what one of those mobile apps looks like for Carla and her team. This is the WeWork community. It's a very engaging app that Carla and the team at Pacifica can use to connect with all of the other businesses that are sharing that same WeWork space. They can collaborate and engage with each other with a single click of a button. They can book a meeting room and book a shared workspace. This app is fast and engaging, and it's really fun. And it's all powered by Heroku. So let's take a look behind the scenes to see how WeWork is powering this app for every single person in the WeWork community. So we're looking at the Heroku application dashboard, and this is where the app manages all its resources. At the very top, you see a bar for auto-scaling. Now, this allows WeWork to set a high and low threshold so the app can manage its resources based on customer demand. I think we can all agree that saving money is a good thing. I could certainly do more of it myself. And that's what auto-scaling is allowing WeWork to do. It's allowing them to scale dynos up or down so they can run a more efficient app. So whether it's the middle of a busy work week or on a quiet weekend, the app is delivering the same responsiveness to everybody in the WeWork community. If you scroll down a bit more, you'll see add-ons. Add-ons is a marketplace of pre-built services that you can use for your apps in Heroku. So take Heroku Connect. This is allowing you to connect your apps in Heroku with your Salesforce data seamlessly so you can always deliver those personal experiences. So that was a bit of a whirlwind. But what you just saw was how WeWork is using the Lightning App Builder to create personal customer experiences at scale, how we're using Quip to drive collaboration and efficiency in their business, and finally, how we're using Heroku to create beautiful customer apps for every single person in the WeWork community. And that's the power of connecting your entire business with the Salesforce Platform, and why WeWork has selected the Lightning Platform to drive their mission for creating the best space for the future of work. Thank you, and back to you, Adam.
Excellent. Thank you, Nalina. So that's a very, very whirlwind example, and it's really difficult to get just how rich that content is across within 10 minutes. So thank you for doing that. It's a hard thing to do. But what hopefully you're starting to see is just how easy it was. Simon is sitting at the back there, and yes, he's running through a demonstration, but honestly, building these applications is really that straightforward. You've heard it here from Richard about it works. It does what it says. And I encourage all of you to really think about this. Think of that triangle diagram I showed you. Think about what it is you're trying to do. What is the projects and the list of things you've got to do coming up? And work with Salesforce. Embrace us. Give us a chance. Give us a shot, and we'll prove it. Literally, we can have those jaw-dropping moments with you. So there's a couple of things that I've put up here as a kind of, what shall I do next if you're sitting here in the audience? For those of you that are a little more shy and a little more private and a little more retiring and don't want to come and meet with us to start with, then honestly, go to Trailhead. Has everybody got a Trailhead account in this room? Put your hands up if you have. Okay, about half of you. For those of you that haven't, I really recommend you go on Trailhead. Trailhead is a self-paced learning tool. Eli Lilly, who were on stage with me here last year having the presentation, they had 2 undergraduates who stood up and said, well, we've built all these applications for Eli Lilly when we were on our placement year out of university. And I said to them, wow, that's amazing. Where did you learn Salesforce? At university? They said, no, we never heard about it before we joined Eli Lilly. But we went to Trailhead, and we learned everything we needed to do to build applications to put into production in a regulated pharmaceutical environment through Trailhead. Trailhead is there with technology. You can learn all kinds of things. You can self-teach yourself about Salesforce and learn everything you need to about the technology. But there are business trails in there as well. There's trails on GDPR that I mentioned earlier. So please encourage you, go and get a Trailhead account, start your journey, and start learning about this, because it's a different way of doing things. There is no technology that is like this. It is a different way of working and running a business and running a company and building applications. The second thing on the right-hand side is that build it in a day. Build an app in a day. Challenge us. Talk to your Salesforce account manager and say, you know what, I got an idea. I want to build this application. Here's the idea of what it is we want, and have us come in and sit down with you and go through the experience of building it in a day. What we do is we get a few people from the business and a few people from IT in a room together. We'll show you what Salesforce is, and then we sit down and we co-create. and we build that application. At the end of the day, you'll walk out with this application working on a mobile device in your hand, in Polish if you want, but that's how easy it is to do. The challenge with that for the IT people in the room is it can set some very high expectations with the business, because now they suddenly want everything yesterday. There's obviously a lot more intensity that goes behind that in terms of how we integrate that into our business and run it and the governance that's needed, but it is that simple to do. So I encourage you, take one of these paths forward with us and you will not regret it. You will totally embrace it, and it will change the way you work, think, and operate. So thank you very much for your time this afternoon. I really appreciate you all being here, and do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.